All right, good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. And today's meeting's topic is for investors, right? Investors, flippers, anybody that has money, they're trying to, purchase a property, renovate it, sometimes not even renovate it, depending on the deal, and make money out of it. So, so as a realtor, when you're having a conversation with our investors, clients, right? You always want to be, that confident that you want to make them money, right? Any deal that you're going to give it to them is going to produce after all the expenses, make them good amount of money. Good amount of money meaning at least $50,000 plus. Any investment. That's for single family house, right? So we're going to learn how we find these listings, how we add them to KB Core and find it through that. But before that, I want to go over just the numbers, right? So if it's a new investor that's just looking to get into the business, or maybe he flipped few deals or something, um, these are the numbers that we want to start off with, right? Maybe he's looking for one family house in Long Island, right? And the price range that you want to find for him, right, where he's purchasing, around $400,000, right? Single family, 3 bedroom, two baths, 40 by 100 plus lot size, and typically you want to find a deal that's around $400,000. Okay, it could be 420, 430, 380, any of in that price range. Okay, and when you show them properties in that price range and they want to see it and the properties usually just beat up, it needs a lot of work, right? It might say TLC on it, it might say needs work. Any of those wording means that it needs work, it needs renovations, right? Sometimes it's fully needs full renovations, the roof, the kitchen, the bathrooms, the basement. Sometimes it just needs minor stuff, right? So that will depend on when we go actually look at the property, right? So assuming you did find them for $400,000, they like the property, you make an offer, it's going to cost them another $25,000 for the closing cost for this expense, that expense, right? So that's 425. Now for renovations, we say it's for single family, a number that you want to be in the ballpark with is $50,000, more or less. There are some investors out there that will use cheap material and try to reduce its cost much as possible, or it could be an investor putting in a lot of high quality, appliances. All the features are top notch. Then it won't be 50. It might be 60, 70, depending on his cost, right? So assuming it is 50, so his total cost right now is going to be 475, right? So now once that's the total cost that it's going to cost him. After that, as an investor, because you gave him that deal and you keep a good relationship with him, there's a good chance that they will give you the listing to actually be the listing agent and put it in the market, right? Depending on the area and stuff like that. If it's fully renovated, you probably want to price it at 599, right? You want to do your comps and stuff like that. Price should be between 575 to 599 as resale, right? It's going to cost them another around $25,000 closing cost, and takeaway amount is going to be 575. It cost them 475. He's taking home 575. Actual net that he's going to take home is going to be around $100,000, right? So all these investors, you want to have it profit margin in that price range. It could be between 50 to $100,000 that they're happy, because this whole process might take them a full year to complete. Right? Some of these experienced investors might do this flip in about 4 months. Right? Really depends. And the good part is that you can be the listing agent when they're ready to resell the property. Right? Any questions on this? All right. So this is for a single family. Now let's say it's two family, then these numbers will change accordingly, right? Obviously the resale value will be higher and the profit will be different as well. So this is, like I said, for a single family, investors that's just starting out. There are listings in Long Island that goes, below 400,000. The more further down you go in Long Island, but again, the resale value has to be there too. So you have to do your comps before you go see the place. All right. I'm assuming no questions. All right. Another thing that investors like to know about is their cap rate, right? It's the capitalization rate. I have a separate video on that, but briefly, I want to go over. It could be commercial, it could be residential, it could be anything. But let's say a property, any property that is producing with their rent income, with total gross income that the property is producing is about $90,000, right? And then that property will have operating expenses, taxes, insurance, utilities, all this stuff here. Let's say that totals to $33,000, right? And then the net operating income, 90,000 minus 33,000 should give you about $56,000, right? So you take that $56,000 and you divide it by the cap rate that you want to do it. So we have two examples here. One is on the high end, one is on the lower end, right? With the cap rate. So let's say you want the cap rate to be 8%, right? You take 56,000 divided by 8%. So on a calculator, you would do it like this: $56,000 divided by 0.08. That will give you $700,000. So now, if you want to do the cap rate of 5%, when you divide it, you will get over $1 million. So these percentages matter. And typical rate in New York City with the cap rate that we see is 5%. You know, if you can get a property with 6% cap rate, 7% cap rate for the investor, they'll be much more happier. Okay. But then again, if one of these expenses is not disclosed by the listing agent and then the cap rate drops, that's a problem, right? So that's how you find your cap rates here. Any questions on the cap rate, guys? All right. So we have our cap rate here. We have our investors breakdown here. Now let's talk about how we actually find listings, right? A couple of different ways. One, you can be in KV Core, which is lead engine, right? And you can create a squeeze page, build a squeeze page, right? You can choose the area, just like how we add it, right? You can set multifamily, single family, price range. You can say anything with 300,000 to 450, right? 3 bedrooms and options here, right? You can do two different results. One, you can do actually fixer upper, right? That's only if the listing agent actually checkbox that, saying that this is a fixer upper, right? When they're adding it to MLS. But not every listing agent might do that. So you don't want to miss out on a property if the agent hasn't clicked that. So you probably want to do one with as option selected with upper fixer upper and one without it. All right. Right. You can put the source if you need, hashtag, uh, and then for the link, you want to click on generate link. Okay. It gives you a long link and then it'll give you a short link. I would copy the short link. I would paste it here. Then you can bookmark this, and this will show all the fixer upper in this area here, right? 300,000, 449, right? If it says short sale, again, the bank needs to approve it. It might take a longer time to close, but if you have access to it, you want to take a look at it, you can, but just note that the short sale takes a longer time. And then you can view these properties and send it to the agent, to your buyers. So again, KV Core, lead engine, build a squeeze page. That's one way. Or how I like to do it, I just create one in Smart CRM one client named Flipper Investors, right? And I just put my information here. You can do it for yourself, right? And then for alerts, I would, do the same exact thing. Looking for multifamily, single family, coming soon, commercial in this price range, must have a basement and is a fixer upper, checked off, right? I can set up another alert without this option here. Then you can compare how many listings you have. All right. And then let's say if it's this property here, you click on it, it's coming soon. So this is a great way of sending it to your clients because it's not even hit the market yet. So more action, send via text, and then I would just send it to any of them from here, right? And always remember to click on this checkbox. All right. So that's how you add it. Okay. Again, I have saved one page here, bookmark. So briefly in the morning, I can just take a look from here, or I can just go to KV Core and go to the client. Okay. Questions, guys? All right. I will list few websites that's great for flippers, right? There's one auction.com. You can go there too, but know that majority of those properties are uh, is occupied with tenants. Okay, so let's say you go to auction.com. This is a great for investors. Again, you can be upfront with the your clients that hey, we can go to auctions and we just want to get paid. You can pick out your number. Hey, 2%, 2.5%, 3% uh, off the final bid price that they will pay you. Okay, and then you can just go from there. From here, we'll go to Nassau. Okay, all right. What else? There are some other websites that I will share with you guys as well, right? But the most important is because you want to see everything that's on MLS, that would be in your KV Core. All right. In order to get these investors is just like you're getting your buyers or your sellers. Investors are just like the sellers. They know, they have the money. So sometimes they think that they know more than you, which is in some cases true. But you want to be there with the new property, just sending them because they might already set up their own alerts as well on Zillow, Trulia, etc. So I would recommend that you create these and send them the listing as soon as possible so you can be on top of it, right? Any area that they want to be in. Questions, concerns, guys? All right. If there are not questions, you guys can get going one by one.
Hey, Lucky, Ali.
Yeah, how are you, Mr. Ali?
Good, good. Can you explain to me the cap rate? How you do the cap rate again?
Sure. Cap rate is here. So the formula is going to be whatever the net operating income is,
Yeah.
right? And then you divide it. Let's say you want to divide the percentage that you want. Let's say you want the cap rate to be 5%, then that's the value that the property will have. So you divide the net operating income by the cap rate, and then you will get the value.
Yeah, but how do you know this cap rate? Well, you just suggest, well, it could be five, it could be six. Is there a way to work out to know the cap rate?
No, you want to work out different numbers. Let's just say you're representing the seller now, right? You want to tell them, yeah, hey, your this is your gross income, this is your expenses. That let's say now you want to put it in the market. I would give them three or four different scenarios with different, cap rates. I said based on your $56,000 net income, if we put a cap rate at 8%, this is what they would be. We can list it for. Do it for 7%, 6%, 5%, and see which one they want to list it for.
Hey, this is Jabed. I think he's um I think he's also asking like if it's if it's put up for sale at like 700,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that's how you would figure out the cap rate, right?
Yeah, so let's just say it's listed for 700,000, then you times it by 0.08. Instead of dividing it, you time it by 0.08. Thanks. Right? And that will give you $56,000.
Which is equivalent to 8%?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you're
Okay.
timing it by 0.08, so it would be
Mm-hmm. Correct. Does it make sense? We can play with the numbers. Or you can take $56,000, you divide it, right? That's the net operating income that they're giving you, right? Is going to be in the listing, and it's listed for 700,000. So you take $56,000 divided by $700,000, right? And that will give you 0.08, which is that cap rate.
yeah, I think that's what we were
He meant?
trying to figure
Okay.
out. Like how do you figure out the cap rate when you are given the sale
Yeah.
price and the net operating income?
Then you would take that net operating income divided by the listing price, and that will you can do your calculation, and that will give you 0.08. Right?
Okay. Yeah. I think
Makes sense, right? We can do either or. But like I said, when you're representing the seller now, right? You want to give them, I always do it, like even with the seller's breakdown. Always I provide them with three, four different sheets. Hey, if you list it for this price, this is what your takeaway is. So same thing with this commercial one. You want to give them a scenario, hey, this is your operating income. You list it for 5%, we can do it this, 6% this, 7% that. But on the other hand, like you said, if you just know this and you want to find out the cap rate, then you take the net operating income and divide it by the listing price, and you will get your cap rate. All right, guys.
okay.
All right. Okay. Any other questions? If not, you guys can go going one by one.
One question, ask
Sure.
quickly.
More.
For the foreclosures, if you want to put in an offer for the foreclosures, what's the best technique? Like start with the asking price or lower than that?
No, usually, I mean, the way the market is, there's so many investors for past 2 years. There's millions and millions of dollars just being on hold right now. So you want to be aggressive. You don't want to overprice it, but you want to be aggressive. If it's listed for $400,000, you want to do your comps and put in an offer that's close to that.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
yep. Because the low bowling, a lot of investors will low bowl because they want to make more profit out of it. But just that because of the competition and the low inventory, is hard to win any uh, bidding war with this.
Yeah. Well, if it's an investor who familiar with the area, he will know exactly
Yeah,
if he's gonna offer full price or above.
yeah. But we don't want to be too off from their thinking either as realtors, right? Because they're expecting us to know, they're looking for our advice, even though if they might know already, they're gonna still test out the investor, the agent. So you want to be, tell them, hey, this is what the market is. If they want to put it way too low, you don't want to suggest that either. right?
Yesterday, Trinan, did you put it up so we can view it?
What was that?
Yesterday, Trinan, about the
Oh, I'm
postcard.
sent. Yeah, I believe the recording was done. So along with this one, I'll upload it in a few minutes. Okay.
All right, thank you, Lucky.
You're welcome, guys. All right, guys. If there's no questions, you guys can get going. Huh?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one question